Welcome to Prescribing Lifestyle, the podcast that's all about empowering you to live your healthiest, happiest life. I'm your host, Dr. Avi Charlton, and each week we'll dive into the latest research, practical tips, and inspiring stories to help you optimize your well-being. From nutrition and fitness to mental health and mindfulness, we'll explore every aspect of lifestyle medicine, giving you the tools you need to make informed decisions and take control of your health. Whether you're looking into preventing disease, managing chronic conditions, or simply elevate your quality of life, Prescribing Lifestyle is here to guide you on your journey to wellness. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to embark on this transformative adventure towards a healthier, happier you. Let's dive in. Welcome to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. Today, I have a guest for you, a very special guest, Dr. Angela Kwong. She has been on my podcast last year, and this is her second time coming on to the podcast. Welcome, Angela.
Thank you, Abby. It's such a delight to be a returning guest on your podcast.
Thank you. In fact, Angela is the first guest that's been on the second time on the Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. Last year, Angela invited me to the Australian Weight Loss Summit, and that's how we connected. So that was a very delightful summit. Thank you for inviting me last year.
Oh, you're welcome. It ended up being a really big event. I never had imagined that we could have gathered so many people, both members of the general public and also health professionals, to come together to learn about all the options when it comes to weight loss.
Yeah, so Dr. Angela is a weight loss GP in Sydney. She's got a special interest in weight loss. And she's got a fantastic program, and she's had this Australian Weight Loss Summit, which our listeners can still go on and to access the recordings of the summit, isn't it?
Correct. So what I ended up doing was getting 9 panelists, including myself and Dr. Abby Charlton, and also a bariatric surgeon, exercise physiologist, dietitian, psychologist, lots of different people when it comes to weight management, all coming together to talk about all of the evidence-based approaches when it comes to weight management, because there's a real absence of evidence-based information. Patients often go to Google, they go to internet forums, they get really lost. And so what I wanted to do was have a go-to place where people could feel welcome, feel comfortable, and ask questions and get their questions answered. And we had a really big crowd, and people can still access the replay. That's at awlsummit.com.au.
Fantastic. I'll put all the links in the show notes. And some of my listeners would know Dr. Lucy Byrne from the Low Carb Space. She did a fantastic talk on menopause.
Definitely. That was a very popular part where she talked about the link between menopause, low carb, insulin resistance. A lot of her information really resonated with a lot of listeners that night.
Fantastic. Just briefly, I am planning to learn much more about menopause, and 1st of March, just over a month, I'm going to go to Sydney to attend the So Hot Right Now Menopause conference in the Sydney Opera House, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's being run by one of my colleagues, Dr. Kerry Cashel, who is a GP in the Northern Beaches of Sydney. She's gathered together both international and local experts when it comes to women's health, perimenopause, menopause, and they are putting on a big event for the public at the Sydney Opera House. And then the day afterwards, they're running a medical conference designed for health professionals. And I'm part of the medical conference panel talking about the challenges that patients go through during that menopausal transition, and how we as health professionals can try to help patients navigate that difficult part and help them to support their weight during that time.
Great, fantastic. I'm so looking forward to learning much more about menopause and catching up with you, Angela.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. I'll get you to briefly tell us about yourself and how you got into this space.
about how you become a weight loss GP, and eventually we'll talk about your fantastic shake, the Enlighten Me shake.
Definitely. So I had been working as I guess you would call it a traditional GP for a pretty long time. So about 10 years and loving all aspects of general practice. I still do work as a GP on Mondays, seeing coughs, colds, women's health, travel medicine, pediatrics, you name it. And I love the breadth of medicine. It brings me a lot of joy. What I had started to see was that a lot of patients were coming to see me for emerging metabolic disease, emerging chronic disease, and a lot of patients were asking me for help with their weight. And I suddenly realized that, if I can help people reduce their weight at an earlier stage, we can really dodge a lot of those metabolic diseases. We can really reverse a lot of those chronic diseases. And so I was really motivated myself as a GP to upskill in that area. And so I went and got what's called SCOPE certification at the World Obesity Federation. Then following that, I was thinking about, do I just want to continue practicing on as a GP, looking after a small local community, or do I really want to do something that is meaningful for a bigger community? And I kind of wanted to go big. And so this also kind of crossed over with the pandemic. And I was thinking about, patients love the accessibility of telehealth. I wanted to also, I actually come from a small rural community myself. I lived in a very small country town called Inverell up until the age that I was 16. And I was thinking about a way that I could really provide a obesity management service for people who are even in the most rural and remote parts of the country. So with those two ideas combined, I decided to create Enlighten Me, which is a medically supervised weight management program that takes a multidisciplinary approach. I didn't really want to just prescribe and refer. I wanted to really help patients identify the factors contributing to their weight by using my general practice skills, but also enlist the help of some colleagues in the allied health space so that we could really work together as a team and help to empower patients with the skills that they needed to keep the weight off in the long term. And Enlighten Me, the program, has been running for about 2 years now. We operate as a small boutique practice. We have another GP who's joined me now, which is great. So we're a group practice and we really love what it is that we do. It's very meaningful to have patients who have really graduated from our service. They're keeping the weight off and they're very, very happy and they refer their family and friends to us. But it was about a year into running Enlighten Me that I felt a little bit uncomfortable about prescribing so many weight loss medications. We have had the emergence of so many what you call injectables or GLP-1s. And I felt a little bit iffy. I felt a little bit uncomfortable. I had concerns about my patients and some of the side effects that they were having. And I'm a doctor who doesn't really prescribe a lot. So I'm someone who tries to prescribe what we call the lowest effective dose. There's no need to really be on traditional dosing if you're getting effective weight loss, not too much side effects from a very, very small dose. Having said that, many patients did still experience a very low appetite and they couldn't really have more than 30 to 50%. They were also having side effects like reflux, bloating, nausea. And because of that, we were really concerned and monitoring their muscle mass during this time. And we were also thinking about their nutrition. And we know that, with increasing evidence, it's not just about what you're putting into your body. It's also about the health of your gut. It's about the microbiome. So with that in mind, I decided to combine all of the knowledge that I really had to formulate an all-in-one shake. So something that was not just about cutting your calories, not just something that was about 200 calories and tick the box in terms of vitamins and minerals, something that was genuinely good for you, had a palm-sized serving of protein, about 30 plus grams, was low in carbs and didn't undo all of the good work that you were doing during your weight loss journey, and also nourished you from within. So also had all of the prebiotics, the probiotics and the daily greens. And from that came the Enlighten Me shake.
Great. I love it. I love how you are in line with the message of me with the less carbohydrates, high protein, and a holistic approach to dealing with managing patients with weight loss. I love how your journey is so in line.
Definitely. And, when it comes to carbohydrates, many patients really struggle to find a product that is
Hmm.
low in carbohydrates without necessarily having hidden fillers or having hidden artificial sweeteners in there, because it is always traditionally low carb products that have a lot of sorbitol, maltitol,
Mm. Hmm.
erythritol, xylitol to make up for the absence of pure sugar.
Yeah.
But what a lot of patients struggle with as a result of all of those artificial sweeteners is bloating,
Mm.
gas, gut
Mm.
upset, and a laxative effect. And that was the last thing that I wanted to create for my patients who were really taking a lot of these injectables and already having those things already. So I had to really think outside the square as to how I would maintain a low carb approach
Hmm.
inside this product.
Yeah.
And for me, in order to keep a high protein content and a low carb approach, I had to make a decision to, number one, not put fillers inside there. That
Yeah.
did make my manufacturing cost quite high because if
Mm.
you have a look on the shelf, almost every powdered product on there, whether it's a milk product, whether it's a protein powder, whether it's a meal replacement shake, almost every one will have, rice flour, milk powder, maltodextrin. Almost all of them will have something that takes up space but is not really part of the product. And
Mm.
so I made the decision to literally just put in whey protein concentrate, whey protein isolate, vitamins and minerals, and then all the good stuff for the gut. So the reason why my product is low carb is because there isn't a filler and there aren't the artificial sweeteners inside there.
Amazing. I just dug out my shake bag. Thank you to you for gifting it to me.
You're welcome.
And I just looked at it. Carbohydrate content, 4.9 gram per serve. A serve is 55 gram, which is 2 scoops. And so that's fantastically low.
It's almost unheard of in the meal replacement shake space. So when you have a look at most products that are on the shelf, they will range from about 11 to 16 grams. Those are the lower carb ones. And then the other ones have about a 1-to-1 ratio with the protein. So if you have 20 grams of protein, you'll see 20 grams of carbs. If you have a high protein one, like 30 grams of protein, you'll see 30 grams of carbs. So it's kind of unheard of to find a palm-sized serving of protein, which is like your salmon fillet, your serving of steak, but only a thumb-sized serving of carbs, like 5 grams of carbs.
Amazing. And it's got prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes, ginger, peppermint oil, kale, spinach, broccoli, MCT oil. So much goodies in it.
Yeah, it's almost like a six-in-one shake. I really had to think about all the products that we have on the shelf. I had to look at every single weight loss shake, diet shake, meal replacement shake, you know it. Had to look at all of their ingredients, had to look at all of their nutritional panels, and then really thought about, what is good for you? What is not good for you? What is it that I like? What is it that my patients don't like? And from there, custom formulated and custom designed a shake that I believed with my heart and also with clinical integrity would be something that people would be happy to use for themselves, something that they would be happy to put in their body for in the long term to nourish their body.
Yeah, great. And when I have used it, there was one time I just had a beef patty burger and I didn't have much else. It was just a small leftover lunch, and I had 1 scoop rather than two as a lunch of with your protein powder and my beef patty. So I'm eating the food as well as having like a dessert protein shake together as my lunch. I think that's a pretty good idea to combine food and your shake at the same time.
Definitely. It is titratable in that way. And many of my patients actually use it as a snack. So some of my patients who are on that 50% appetite, or some people who do feel like afternoon tea or as an add-on, they do like to titrate it to just the one scoop. So you're right in that they mix one scoop with 150 mils of water, milk, or their milk substitute, and they just have a really nice chocolate milk. Because if you think about the macros, 16 grams of protein, what is 16 grams of protein? Well, one egg is about 7 grams. So you're having about 2.5 eggs in just one scoop. It's very, very light. It's very easy to digest. It's very transportable. You can literally keep like one scoop in a cup and take it with you to work. So it's very convenient for a lot of patients just to fill that protein gap very easily.
Yeah, yeah. I also love your shaker, which came with the protein shakes as well. So I had the shaker and I had a scoop of the protein into the shaker, and I just kept it at work one day. And I thought that was a great idea.
Oh, thank you. Yes, you don't know how many shakers I have in my cupboard that didn't make the cut. I tried so many. And, when I was thinking about a shaker that would accompany the shakes, many things stood out to me with shakers that I find, in my personal opinion, didn't make the cut for many reasons. So I
Mm.
tried mixing up many shakers, and I found for some of them that stainless steel mixing bowl was actually very sharp. It actually caught on the sponge when I was trying to wash it, and I
Oh,
just didn't really like that for myself.
oh
I also
wow.
found many shakers that had a pop top on there accidentally exploded
Oh
when I was
no.
shaking my drink, or when I opened it, it sprayed all over my face, which
Yep,
is why I specifically chose the shaker that had a screw top because it
yep,
was very secure. And then I
yep.
also tested the shaker in a few different places, in your bag, is it going to leak? In the car, in a few different places. So you
Hmm.
can rest assured that there's been many, many iterations of the shaker. My cupboard is full of many that didn't make the cut before I finally decided on something that was sleek, durable, user friendly, and also just something that looks quite nice that can accompany the shaker that is
Yep.
nice for you to use.
Amazing. So much thought has gone into this product. Not just the protein, but the shaker as well.
I think it's been a really fun process for me. For you and I, our training is in medicine, our training
Mm,
is general practice, but the
yeah,
way that our brain works is very much as a problem solver. For
yeah,
us, we've been trained to be handy. We've learned how to fix things. We've learned how to fix the human body, but the
yeah.
brain works in the exact same way as to how can we make this as user friendly as possible? How can we make this as best as possible for our patients? Because we know our patients so well. We know our patients want to have something quick and easy at work. They want to take something to the gym. They want to make something in the afternoon in case they need to make a big pasta meal for their family, and they need to have,
Yeah.
a quick serving of protein. So you and I, we're trained in medicine, but we are trained problem solvers, and we kind of have that passion for fixing things and creating things and solving problems.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I love it. I still think food is the best, but
Yeah.
there are also absolutely those instances when food is not possible. Maybe you run out of food, maybe you're just going out and you need to have a lunch, and then your shakes are portable and you can take it anywhere you like, or even on holidays or on the plane, then you don't want to eat the plain food.
Definitely. I've always had a bit of a whole food based approach with my patients. And many patients say to me, I've tried so many shakes in the past. I've tried so many bars. If anything, I'm a little bit traumatized and a little bit scarred from all of my past dieting experience.
Mm,
And I say, look, we're not in the 80s, we're not in the 90s anymore. We are way past that old traditional mindset of dieting and restriction. We
yeah,
don't just need to focus on cutting your calories, cutting things so severely. It really is about filling the gap and nourishing your body with something good. So when the time comes and you need to really fill in a gap, so of course, we always advocate for, looking for a palm-sized serving of protein with every single meal, whether it's your breakfast, lunch, or your dinner, or
Yeah.
looking for a protein-rich snack, whether it's like a can of tuna, whether it's a handful of nuts. But when it's hard, so when you are having side effects, when you're taking weight loss medications, you're experiencing gastric delay, and it's really hard for you to ingest large volumes of solid protein. If you're someone who's just had bariatric surgery and it's quite hard for you to have large volumes of solid food, or you are traveling and the difference is going to be you choosing a powder that you mix with water that's very convenient and you can count on the macros very easily, or you have to choose something at the convenience store. It's the lesser of two evils, and it's about being in control, you being able to make that choice for yourself beforehand, and even packing something that you know that you can count on. So yes, even though I'm someone who designed it and I'm someone who's not necessarily on the weight loss journey, I myself use the shake when I'm traveling, when I'm going on conferences. I'll pack it in my suitcase, and if I'm stuck at the airport, if I'm in the hotel room, I'm dining alone, I will easily mix powder with water and know that I've got something decent to have for dinner.
Amazing. Great. I love it. And when I first met you, you told me this shake is more of a passion project and you're not really making a lot of money off it. And it was a bit of a process to get manufacturers to manufacture these shakes for you. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so when I first went about creating this shake, I wanted to do it right no matter what. So I wasn't going to compromise on my values. I designed the recipe, I designed the formula, I had to think about the macros that I wanted to create, I had to think about the ingredients that I wanted to create, and I went to a dozen, maybe more manufacturers and got turned down by many. So I have pretty thick skin. I've had many emails not returned, many phone calls not returned, many doors slammed in my face with feedback from people telling me that I'm too small of a fish, I'm just a female GP. Who am I to think that I can bring out my own product? It's probably going to flop, or my formula is too complex. Why don't I just go to China and make it really cheap, for example? So there was so much feedback that, it's about me, or my product is too difficult, or I should take a cheaper manufacturing pathway. But all of these things didn't really matter to me, because for me, being a Australian GP, wanting to make a product that was of very good quality, I really wanted to make a product made in Australia. And so I just pushed and pushed and pushed until I could find a manufacturer. After we signed on the dotted line, they pulled out and said, actually, we decided not to go ahead with your project.
Oh,
Goodbye.
oh,
Then I had to
it's
go back to square
devastating.
one and find another one.
Oh,
But, the manufacturer that I ended up finding, who is in Australia, they ended up taking me on. And when they took me on, they had actually watched some videos on my YouTube channel. So they knew what I was about. They knew that I had a background in serving patients through my medically supervised weight loss program, and they could see the passion behind the creation of this product, which is why they decided to take on my very difficult formula. And yes, it is a passion project. I'm going to continue on with this, even if it doesn't make me a lot of money, because it's something that I truly believe in. My manufacturing cost for this is sky high because I have so much good stuff that goes in there. If you really have a look at the ingredients that go in there, if you're a label nerd, if you look at ingredients, if you have a look at the nutritional panels, you can see that it's actually a 6-in-1 product. So my patients that take it, they're like, oh, don't need to buy my greens, don't need to buy my prebiotic, don't need to buy my probiotic or my daily fiber or my meal replacement shake. I pretty much have everything that I need in here, and it makes it very, very easy. So the people who appreciate a really well made and really well designed product will appreciate the product. product. And as a result, for me, it is really a passion project, but it is something that I am so passionate about. And I believe that there are people out there who will appreciate it. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, there will also be people who will look at my product and they will still choose the lowest unit price. So they would
Mm.
choose a generic meal replacement shake or weight loss shake that's on the shelf for half the price, a third of the price, or 10% of the price, because that is all that they can afford today.
Mm-hmm.
But I will still hold true to my ground in that I want to create this product the way that it is. And for people who can truly appreciate that, they will appreciate my product.
Great, amazing. So it's Australian made, it's got all the good ingredients, it's got no nasties. And I've just noted that it was Australia Day yesterday,
Yes,
a
correct.
couple of days ago. And we're both Chinese, we're both in Australia, and we both call ourselves Australian, and we're both loving this country.
Correct. I'm what you call an ABC, Australian born
Ah,
Chinese, first generation.
yeah, I'm not Australian born, but I've got an Australian accent and certainly 30 years on in Australia.
Wonderful. No, I love this country. Very happy to be an Australian GP here.
Yeah, yeah, great. And I see that you have gone out and gone to pharmacies and selling this Enlighten Me shake and very well received, is it?
Yes, surprisingly, I when I first did this, then my thought process was that I'm just going to share the shake. I'm going to put it out on my social media. I'm going to put it on my website, and hopefully, just hopefully, a couple of pharmacists who know me well as a GP will be
Hmm.
willing to put the shake on their shelves because they know me as a GP. They know the way that I practice, they know the way that I prescribe, and they believe in me. And it did happen. So a handful of pharmacies who I usually work with, who know the way that I practice, they actually asked me, Angela, we would love to support you. We've had a look at your shake. We would love to stock your shake. And it just happened naturally. But do you know what? After that happened, I suddenly had pharmacies calling me out of nowhere, seeing my stuff on YouTube, seeing my stuff on social media, putting in inquiries on the website saying, Dr. Angela, can we please have a meeting in relation to your shake? Or I
Mm.
started getting orders coming in from medical centers where they bought a couple of the shakes, and they said, and then I started to see these big orders come in. When I called them and I said, are you sure that this order is correct? They said, it's just been flying off the shelves here. And I was like,
Wow.
well, this is great. So, it's something that I had not counted on, but
Hmm.
I guess through the process of just believing in the product and continuing to share on a daily basis, other people are starting to notice the product, other people are
Mm.
starting to share the product,
Yeah,
and it's just growing, which is so pleasing to see.
yeah, I love it. Love your work. You have so much energy. You've got the Enlighten Me program, you have the Enlighten Me shake, and what other projects are you working on?
Those are all of the projects at the moment in terms of Enlighten Me. It's actually quite a lot of work, practicing as a GP, running
Yeah.
the program and running the shakes. Something that I hadn't counted on during all of this process, and I think because it's that I continue to share, it's that I continue to share on all the social media channels and that I continue to show up, is the number of invitations that have come up during that process. So
Mm.
just like yourself and just like a couple of other podcasts, I keep on getting invitations to share on podcasts. I keep getting invitations to come and speak at conferences, not
Mhm.
just about my product, not just about my expertise when it comes to weight management or obesity management, but increasingly other fields are starting to ask me to come and share my journey as well.
Mhm.
Starting off as a GP and then moving into other fields as well. So starting off as a
Mm.
GP and moving into product design, starting off
Yep.
as a GP and moving into digital health, which I must say, like all of these things that I did I literally just tried it and winged it
Mm.
and learnt along the way. I never actually did any formal degrees in product design. I never formally did any degrees in digital health. I've literally just tried my best every single day
Yeah.
to make it work. And some things have worked, some things haven't worked, but I've just continued to refine things along the way.
Yeah, I think that's the same as my journey. I just keep learning and be curious, learning different aspects about business, digital health as well, and all the different platforms that it's all opening up. And I certainly agree with you. There's so many doors that have opened, meeting different people, and it's all very, very rewarding and interesting.
It is. I love meeting new people. I love sharing my story. And I'm not shy to do that either. A lot of people are like, you're not very shy to share your journey and also give a lot of honesty when you're giving your talks. And I agree. I think it's very rewarding to share that story.
Mm,
And it's also very rewarding for the listener as well. You know, if you are a medical student, if you are a junior doctor, if you are a doctor in training and you've only ever seen the traditional pathway. You've only
mm,
ever seen the apprenticeship model in the hospital where you learn from your seniors and you become a hospital doctor, for example, but you learn about other doctors who have kind of taken the non-traditional path and tried something different. You really have to be given that opportunity to hear from others who have walked down the untrodden path to be able
mhm.
to really consider these things.
Yeah, I think the message is being curious and keep learning different pathways and being consistent and keep going, learning consistently. I think that's how both of us work.
Definitely, definitely. I always love collaborating with you, Abby, for that very reason.
I love your energy. I love all your work that you do, Angela. Great. Just one last message that you have for our listeners. What would you advise our listeners? Just one message.
One message that I have for people is that uh, it's completely okay to think about your weight loss journey in terms of the long term. So what I mean by that is that, you know, many people think about their weight loss journey in terms of a very short term goal. So
Mm,
many people will think, I need to lose 5%. I need to get down to a very fixed number. So I need to get down to 80 kilos or I need to get down to 85 kilos, for example. And
mm,
that's all that they really fixate on for a very long time.
mm,
Something that I think that is really important to know is that yes, the number can be meaningful for you at the beginning, but
mm,
also the function that you have and the quality of life that you have is important as well. The
mm,
flip side of that is that we are getting older every day. You and
mm.
I,
Yep,
Avi, we are aging every single day. And
yep.
also our patients are aging every single day. And
Mm,
alongside with that aging process does come with a slight reduction in our metabolism.
mm,
So it does mean that, you know, what we are doing today is not necessarily going to work tomorrow and it's not
mm.
necessarily going to work in 10 years time.
Yeah.
So we can't always be hard on ourselves even when we did reach our weight loss goal. And if we do have a little bit of weight gain in the future, it's actually our body's natural process. So not really thinking about getting to the end goal and then leaving it all behind and going back to our baseline habits
Yep.
afterwards, but
Yep.
actually thinking about it in terms of health. So yes, it's good to have a short-term goal, but I
Mm,
think what is actually more meaningful for us is I want to get to a healthy weight because I want to be able to look after myself. I
mm,
want to be independent in my older age. I want to be functional. I want to be able to run around with my grandkids. I want to be able to go hiking and trekking and go on all of these adventurous holidays, not having a niggle in my knee, being able to carry a heavy backpack, not struggling with my own luggage. I want to be able to do all of those things. And if it means that I have to be 80% good most of the time. If it means that I do need to, reduce my carbohydrates most of the time, if it means that I need to look after my gut health most of the time, that's something that I'm willing to invest in. So thinking about your health in a more long-term fashion and just knowing that we are all going to age and our metabolism is going to change is something that we kind of need to mentally prepare ourselves for.
Yeah, I love that message. I love it. Yesterday, I had a lady who contacted me and she wants to see a weight loss, see the scale moving down. And I said, I can't guarantee you it'll move down in a few weeks, but I'm hoping to promote health in the long term, reduce the risk of chronic conditions. So that was my response to her for her just wanting to move the scale a few kilos. Great.
Maybe she'll listen to this podcast too.
Maybe she'll listen. I don't know. We'll see. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to my podcast, Angela.
Thank you so much for having me, Abby.
Thank you. I'll put all the links onto the show notes, and I must admit I have become an affiliate with Enlighten Me Shake, so I just make a few dollars every sale.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the information. I really appreciate it.
Great. Well, for all our listeners, thank you for listening to the Prescribing Lifestyle podcast. I'll put all the links on how to contact Dr. Angela in the show notes, and you can purchase with my affiliate link. Fantastic. Well, thank you for staying tuned. Until next time, I'll bring to you another amazing guest. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Prescribing Lifestyle Podcast. Before we wrap up, I have an exciting news to share. I have a new ebook called Low Carb Made Easy. It's now available. This guide is perfect for anyone looking to dive into the low carb lifestyle. Inside, you'll find the basic theory behind low carb eating, a detailed food list, practical meal plan, and a variety of delicious recipes. It's designed to make a journey to better health easier, simpler, and enjoyable. For those who prefer a hard copy, head over to my website and register your interest using the link provided. My website is www.mlcclinic.com.au. Head to online store. Remember, the information shared in this podcast, it's for educational purposes only and not proper medical advice. Always consult your medical professional before making any changes to your lifestyle and diet, or you can come and see me in Melbourne Low Carb Clinic. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with us on social media. Your feedback will help us improve and reach more listeners. Lastly, if you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends and family. Together, we can make a positive impact to our health and our communities. Thanks again for listening, and as always, stay healthy and happy. Until next time.